The story begins with King Odysseus and his men returning from a campaign. During the voyage, the king hears female singing and immediately calls Homer. The young man approaches and asks what is happening. Odysseus explains that the song of a siren is approaching and orders him to mark the location, but Homer assumes it is only a legend. The king clarifies that many experienced sailors make this mistake and end up losing their lives. Realizing that the situation is real and not a myth, the young man becomes excited and wants to record what happened. However, Odysseus interrupts him, stating that there is no time and reiterating the order to mark the location. At that moment, Pheanie calls the king, warning that the current is intensifying, which worries Odysseus. He then distributes wax to his men and explains that the only way to protect themselves is by becoming deaf. Meanwhile, on the island of Ithaca, an aged Homer writes a scroll about the enigmatic island shrouded in mist. In it, he describes a goddess of death who inhabits the place along with her creatures of darkness. As he writes, Homer senses a strange presence and decides to investigate, but finds nothing and returns. Upon finishing the scroll, he leaves a warning for whoever finds it to leave the island as quickly as possible. Returning to the group, they face a violent storm, and Homer warns that the wax has run out. A soldier offers to give his to the king, but he refuses and asks to be tied to the mast. His soldiers obey the order, but Homer questions the madness of the siren's song. Odysseus mentions that they left Troy a long time ago, and that there is no sign of the island of Ithaca, implying that perhaps he is losing his mind. Homer says he understands the situation, but also wishes to be tied up. The king refuses, claiming that it is not worth the risk, since he still has much to write. Everyone stays on alert, and Odysseus closes his eyes to focus on something else. However, strange growls echo across the sky, and when he opens his eyes, he notices some beasts flying over the ship and wonders what that is, asking to be released. His men, with their ears covered, do not hear his plea. Finally, when they are attacked, the soldiers free Odysseus, who prepares to fight. Homer is almost devoured, but reacts in time, wounding the creature, which withstands the blow. Everything falls into absolute silence until a soldier is abruptly pulled upward and brutally killed. A strong wave crashes against the ship, making it shake. Odysseus and some soldiers fall into the sea and at dawn are dragged onto a vast island. Odysseus orders his men to stay alert, as those creatures may return. He also asks them to gather the wrecked supplies and tells Homer to follow him, requesting that the young man record everything that happened so that others will not face the same risk. Homer tries to do so, but realizes that his notebook was damaged by the seawater. Pheanie calls him to show something. As they approach, they spot supposed people ahead and pause to reflect on the situation. Homer wants to move forward, but Odysseus stops him, advising him to prepare. They approach and discover a cemetery filled with bound human skeletons. Despite the shock, they try to maintain composure, aware that this is preferable to facing the beasts that attacked them. However, Christos panics and claims they have been shipwrecked on the island of Mist. He shows his fear, but his companions ignore him and advance. They begin to search for useful objects, collecting knives and shields. Gathered together, they discuss how they might escape the island when suddenly Christos falls to the ground, having a vision of everyone's death. Odysseus says he respects his companions' premonitions, but that they must continue and face death head-on. Another soldier suggests that he can choose to stay there and die, or risk himself with them. He approaches Odysseus and mentions that he smells death in the air. Irritated, Odysseus replies that he can keep his cowardice and walks away with the others. Christos then screams that they will all meet death. They resume their search on the island, but find nothing relevant, and Odysseus asks one of the soldiers about the situation. The man replies that there is no life in that place and that the smell is death. Homer asks if that includes them too, and the companion punches him, saying that the dead do not feel pain, which somewhat relieves Homer. As the king advances, Pheanie approaches Homer and states that Christos's visions have never failed. He reports that he has fought many times alongside Christos and believes his visions are authentic. Excited, Homer wants to write this down, but the king calls everyone as he found a river and runs to check it. Boldly, Homer drinks from the water, but soon sees a corpse floating, which terrifies them, knowing that death is everywhere. Odysseus warns that night is approaching, and orders Homer to fetch water from further up the river. The young man hesitates in fear, and the king sends Perimedes to accompany him. While collecting water, Homer asks if death is the only destiny they have at the moment. Perimedes, worried, does not want to discuss it and tells him to hurry. At night, Odysseus switches shifts with Perimedes, handing him a torch and warning that the creatures prefer darkness and flee from light. Something watches them nearby. Perimedes fixes his gaze on a point, and his companion approaches, asking if he saw something. Perimedes replies that he is not sure and tells him to go rest. After the companion leaves, he continues his watch and soon hears wings beating nearby. He is almost attacked by a creature, but manages to dodge and alerts the others. They organize for battle, and the creatures soon appear. They do their best to defend themselves, but Perimedes is captured by one of the beasts. With no time to think, they continue trying to protect themselves, but the attacks come from all sides, and soon another warrior is dragged away by a creature and brutally injured. The next morning, they try to recover from the attack, and when he looks to the side, Odysseus sees the enormous black creature devouring his warrior. He tries to drive it away, but is quickly knocked down and gives up fighting. On the brink of death, he is rescued by a female scream that drives the beast away. The mysterious woman approaches, and Odysseus asks what creature she is. She then reveals her face and says that there may still be hope for them. Approaching the wounded man, she asks him to trust her. Then she extends her hands and begins to sing, and miraculously, her songs begin to heal the wounds of everyone present. After healing them, she asks them to follow her, but the soldier confronts her, stating that her song caused the ship to crash against the rocks. She retorts, asking whether it was not their curiosity that brought them there. Odysseus is disturbed by this statement and raises his sword toward her, which angers her. Suddenly, a deafening scream from the woman leaves them disoriented. She emphasizes that a new threat could lead to their destruction. Then she reveals that only her melody has the ability to keep them safe from the beasts. Finally, she orders them to follow her if they wish to stay alive, otherwise they will become prey to the beasts. With no other choice, they decide to follow her, and Perimedes comments that she has the power to give life. Odysseus disagrees, believing that she only holds the power of death, but decides to follow to learn more. She leads them to her refuge, stating that they will be safe there, as the beasts cannot enter that domain. Odysseus asks what she wants from them, and the woman reveals that she wants to form an alliance to escape that island. He asks her name, but she says she will reveal it in time, and for now, asks them to enjoy the moment. She explains that the island is called Mists and was once a paradise, but now is only the home of those creatures. The king asks if she is the only survivor, and the woman reveals that she became bait on that island. This angers one of the soldiers, who asks if she is helping the creatures. She replies that she had to do it, since the beasts need flesh and she prefers to live. Perimedes tries to understand her point of view, and she thanks him for that, stating that once she leaves the island, she will no longer need to lure anyone. Odysseus is not fully convinced, but accepts the alliance and asks for water and food. The woman agrees and walks away, telling them to make themselves comfortable. Homer and Perimedes quickly begin to eat, while the others take up guard positions. Meanwhile, Christos runs through the forest and finds a hole filled with human remains. He slips inside and uses the skeletons as shelter to escape the creatures. As soon as he realizes they have left, he quickly removes the skeletons and starts running again. The next morning, Odysseus speaks with the woman and asks if her song truly lasts 3 days. That way they would have time to build a raft and leave, but they still needed an exit point. The woman draws on the ground and shows that that place is still something, but the rest of the island is only darkness. Odysseus asks Perimedes to accompany her to search for a way out. After the two leave, Homer asks if they can trust her, and he replies that for now they can. Perimedes returns and reports that he searched half of the island and saw no creatures. However, he also did not discover much, since the woman repeats the same story as before. Odysseus still does not believe her, and the soldier questions why she brought them back to life. Odysseus says it is strange that she does not leave, since she has the power that drives the beasts away. Perimedes acknowledges that everything there is deceptive. During the night, while the others sleep, Homer stays awake writing facts in his notebook. Hearing footsteps, He grabs his sword to investigate. The woman appears behind him and asks what he is writing about. Homer replies that he is immortalizing Odysseus in ink, so that in the future everyone will know who he was. The woman, curious, asks what he will write about her, but he confesses that he does not know, since he does not know her well yet. She encourages him to begin writing and starts to narrate her story. She says she was once free, but was kidnapped by a king from a distant land while picking flowers. Deceived, she was forced to marry according to his customs. One day she managed to escape, but was tricked again and ended up trapped on the island of Mist. Homer, upon hearing her story, seems to recognize her and, alarmed, draws his weapon. However, she uses her magic and makes him fall asleep, saying that it is not yet time to reveal her true identity. At the same time, Odysseus dreams that he meets the goddess Athena. She warns him not to trust the siren, who is not who she appears to be. Athena reveals that the woman is in fact the goddess Pphanie, the queen of the condemned. She left the underworld and came to the island of Mist with the intention of enslaving humans, leading the gods to punish her. They used the cross of eternal fire, an immense magical power that can imprison her forever on that island. Athena informs him that Odysseus must drive this cross deep into Persephone's chest, for if she leaves the island, the enchantment will be broken and he will be in danger. Odysseus asks how to defeat the beasts, since his weapons do not work against them. Athena explains that the children of Persephone and Hades are neither mortal nor immortal, but can be killed when their heart is pierced by a weapon made from a material that once was life and is now dead. Odysseus wakes up alarmed and asks if the woman is nearby. Homer replies that she left during his shift and has not yet returned. Odysseus grabs a spear, but Perimedes argues that it is useless since the beasts do not die. The king disagrees, stating that whenever they faced those creatures, they left wounded or fled. He explains that they need something that once had life, and a soldier mentions wood as that alternative. Odysseus agrees and promises that they will all leave that island alive. The warriors head to an open field to fight the monsters. Odysseus asks Homer to dig a hole, and once it is done, they pour blood into it to attract the creatures. Homer is not sure about Odysseus's plan, but a soldier asks for more trust in the king. Odysseus says that today he will become an active man, although the man does not understand. Later, Homer waits for the beast atop a tree. Soon it appears to drink the blood and begins to feed. He alerts his companions, who quickly attack and manage to pierce it, causing it to disintegrate into dust. Homer finds a ring in the sand and says it belongs to one of their allies. They celebrate the victory, but Odysseus observes that this is only the beginning and suggests they return to plan their next steps. Christos continues running from the creatures flying through the skies. In the refuge, Odysseus reveals that the beasts guard the cross of eternal fire, the only weapon capable of killing them. Homer argues that this is a myth, but Odysseus insists that the cross truly exists and that they must find it to return to Ithaca. Meanwhile, Persephone tries to remove a sword from a cave, but the magic of the gods prevents her, since only a human can wield it. She watches the refuge from a distance without revealing herself. Perimedes is happy that Homer is writing everything down, but wishes he were more skilled with the sword. Odysseus defends Homer, emphasizing that he is learning to overcome his fears, unlike them who were born to kill. During the night, a dense mist strikes the refuge, and everyone prepares for an attack. Odysseus moves away to investigate and is attacked by a beast. When he is about to be finished, Perimedes wakes up and throws his spear, causing the creature to attack him. The beast begins to suck his soul, and his friends run to help him and manage to defeat it. But Perimedes is gravely wounded. He begs to be sacrificed, not wanting to become one of those creatures. Reluctantly, Odysseus grants his request and steps away to mourn the loss of his friend, shouting to Zeus that he is not defeated and that he will continue fighting. Nearby, it is revealed that the creature that attacked them was Persephone. In the morning, as they bury their companion, Persephone appears. Homer begs her to bring Perimedes back, but she says she cannot. Furious, Odysseus asks where she was, and Persephone replies that she was searching for a way out. When he mentions that the beast should not enter the refuge, she confirms, unless something broke the protective enchantment. When they reveal that they killed one of the creatures, she is shocked and asks if they took anything from the beast. Homer shows a ring and Persephone says it is a curse and makes him throw it away. She explains that the enchantment is over and that their only hope now is the cross of eternal fire, which is in the heart of the volcano on the other side of the island. Odysseus agrees and tells everyone to hurry. As they walk, Persephone tries to make conversation with Odysseus, but they are interrupted when Christos appears screaming. He begs to be accepted again, since he has been hiding from the beasts for 3 days. Persephone advises not to listen to him, believing he is possessed. He asks how he survived the creatures, and Christos reveals that he had a vision instructing him to cover himself with death to survive, using a necklace of bones. Persephone interrupts again, telling them not to pay attention to him. Christos informs them that the beasts dwell in the volcano and that the woman is not what she seems. At that moment, a creature appears, and Christos panics, beginning to run. Persephone pretends to use her song, but the creature pursues him and begins to attack him. Odysseus and the others quickly run to help him and manage to kill the creature, leaving Persephone shocked. At night, Odysseus is on watch when he senses a strange presence. Turning around, he sees his wife Penelope, and as he approaches, asks what cruel trick that is. Penelope replies that it is no trick, she only found a way to see him again after 20 years. Suspicious, he asks her to say something that only Penelope would know. The impostor tells a story he recognizes. Missing her, he kisses her, and the two share an intimate moment. In the morning, he confronts her, asking if she truly thinks him an idiot, since 20 years have passed and her appearance has not changed. Without thinking, he stabs her. The impostor stands up and removes the knife, revealing her true appearance. Odysseus steps back and reveals the truth to his companions, while she says that he gave her something important. A mortal child grows in her womb. Persephone states that her kingdom will rival that of Zeus and asks Odysseus to join her, since they are destined to stay together. But Odysseus refuses, stating that he already has a wife. Persephone continues her offer, offering him the world of mortals. Odysseus questions why she would need them if she is so powerful. She reaffirms the story mentioned by Athena, explaining that she needs a mortal, and if he refuses, she will kill them. Odysseus chooses to die and orders his men to flee, while she summons her children. Quickly they run, but find themselves cornered by a cliff and hesitate to jump. Odysseus appears and pushes the two, jumping after them. Later, they emerge from the water and find Odysseus unconscious on the shore, running to help him. He communicates again with Athena, saying that he failed in his mission, but she states that he is wrong, explaining that Persephone's dark kingdom exists beyond the veil of death and that he can hide behind that veil, clarifying that the fate of men is in his hands. She warns him not to let his mortal son be born. Upon waking, he mentions the veil of death, but his warriors do not understand. He remembers Christos and how he hid from the beasts, deciding that they need to dress as the dead. They do so and begin the journey to the volcano, where they see the beasts flying over the region. Quickly they hide, realizing that the plan truly worked. Odysseus orders them to stay alert, since nothing is what it seems on that island. They manage to reach the entrance of the volcano and quickly sneak inside. Suddenly, a beast appears, paralyzing them, but the creature passes without noticing them. They proceed and find the cross of eternal fire. Odysseus states that the future of humanity depends on that weapon. A soldier offers to wield it, but upon doing so, they discover several creatures in the cave. They run, but the soldier decides to stay to delay them and asks Homer to deliver an item to his wife. They flee quickly, while the companion faces the fight and is swiftly killed. Outside, they encounter Persephone, who once again offers them the chance to join her. Odysseus declares that he now has the power to kill her, and she questions whether they truly believe that, stating that the gods would never grant such power to a mortal. Suddenly, several creatures appear, and she says that their opportunity is over, beginning a chant for her creatures. The noise is so deafening that it makes the two kneel. Persephone approaches and asks Odysseus to hand over the sword, threatening that if he does not, she will wait for the birth of his son to do so. She declares that he must die by her hands, and Odysseus begins to raise the sword against his own neck. Then she orders her creatures to devour their hearts. When they are about to die, Odysseus uses the sword to pierce Persephone's heart. She begins to dissolve along with her creatures, and an intense light bursts across the entire island. They celebrate the victory and head to the bay, where they spot another of Odysseus's ships. He thanks Athena and states that he is going home to reunite with his family. Before departing, Homer joyfully writes Odysseus's words. The old Homer continues to record the story of their survivals and how they defeated the creatures, but still wonders where they came from and how they gained life. On the island, Perimedes rises from his tomb, now completely transformed, and begins to fly toward the island of Ithaca, thus ending the story.